Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Hope everybody is having a great day so far. I am having bad internet connection, but today we are going to talk about aromatics and flavors in wine. Stupid internet. Anyway, aromatics and flavors in wine and how do they get there? So this topic came up because last week in the tasting room, a gentleman came in and he asked a question, and he prefaced it by saying he asked another winery this question and he still didn't understand it. And he asked, how do these aromatics and flavors get into the wine? So I was happy he asked the question and thrilled that even since he asked it to somebody else that they didn't explain it well enough or he didn't understand it. And I'm tired of this internet. Anyway, so I was proud of him for being able to ask again. I tried my very best to explain it to him. So I'm all about the visuals. So he was actually tasting our rosé at that time, and I asked him what did he taste and what did he smell in our rosé, and he said he smells strawberries and cherries. I said, yes, that is correct. We get strawberries and cherries in here. And what I did was I told him I'm definitely allergic to strawberries. And I poured myself a glass of rosé. And I wanted a little rosé anyway, but I told him I'm definitely allergic to strawberries. And I poured myself a glass and I took a very nice sip. And I explained to him, well, when I have strawberries, I start off getting hives and then my throat closes and, it's really dangerous. But here I am drinking the rosé. So yes, there is no strawberries in here. This may have been a bit overly dramatic, but I wanted to definitely prove the point about how the wine gets the aromatics and the flavors into how we can actually taste them. So we start off with Vitis vinifera, and the Vitis vinifera is actually a hermaphroditic vine, right? So now we have to keep in mind that the ultimate goal of every living species as a species is to reproduce and to extend the life of that species, right? So for grapevines, they want to reproduce, disperse their seeds, and these compounds that we are tasting and we are smelling all have occurred because these are evolutionary adaptations to allow them to spread their seeds. So these are things that came about to help improve the chances of insects coming to help fertilize, to assist in that pollination, and to attract birds or other animals that are going to eat the seeds and then eat the berries and then eliminate the seeds. So as an animal eats these and then they do what they do after you eat, right? Those seeds are dispersed in someplace else. Now, in case of the Vitis vinifera, it is a hermaphroditic plant. So it has female and male species on the same plant. So it is going to tend to self-pollinate, but it still has these compounds in it to help disperse the seeds. So the thing is we may not be able to detect these aromatics and flavors when we actually taste the fruit. So how do they get into the wine? So once again, we can thank that microscopic organism known as yeast. Okay, so as the yeast come in, right, as it eats the sugar and releases the carbon dioxide during fermentation, there's other chemical reactions that start to occur, and these that were not detectable in the fresh fruit on the vine. So when these compounds react with the sugar, they form a different compound called the glycoside, then along with the enzymes and acids in the wine, get converted into an aromatic ring or an aromatic compound. Now remember, when you're tasting wine, you're actually really smelling it, okay? So these vaporized aromatics and are interpreted by our olfactory bulb. So some of the common aromatic compounds that are in the wine. First one we're going to talk about is methylpyrazine. Okay, so this is the compound methylpyrazine. And this is responsible for the grassy, herbaceous aroma compounds associated with Cabernet Sauvignon, Sauvignon Blanc. Okay, these are going to burn off in the sunlight, which is why our Cab Franc does not have bell peppery smell to it. Okay, so methylpyrazines. The next one we're going to talk about is monoterpenes. Okay, monoterpenes, these give us those floral aromatics of varieties like Gewürztraminer, Muscat, and Riesling. All right, next up we have neuraceprinoids, and these are going to give us those spice notes that we get like in a Syrah or a Carmenere. It also gives us that raspberry and rose aromas. And next we have thiols. Okay, so thiols, these are actually sulfur compounds, and these can go either way. So the sulfur compounds in small amounts, they're kind of what give us that diesel smell that is associated with Gewürztraminer, Riesling, Semillon. But in the higher levels, it's considered a fault because it gives off that garlic and onion smell. Okay, so these are not all of them, but these are some of the main compounds that are in wine. And that's how we get them aromatics and the flavors into the wine. So as a final note, what I just want you to keep in mind is that everyone's brain functions differently. So we interpret aromas and flavors differently according to our own experiences. So I say all the time, if you look at a car, we both might agree that it's a red car, but my brain is interpreting that red as a different red than you are. Same thing as we're eating something and smelling something. Our brain is interpreting. So that's why somebody may get strawberry in their wine and somebody gets cherry. They're both red fruits. It doesn't really matter, but we're interpreting it differently. The other thing is that different people have different thresholds for what they can smell, what they can detect. So some people have a lower threshold to that compound, so they're going to smell it and acknowledge it, where other people might not even know it's in there because that threshold is a higher level. So there you have it. Aromatics and flavors in wine. How do they get there? All chemicals, all compounds, chemical reactions and compounds. And I hope you fought through this with the technical difficulty of it keep pausing, and I hope to see you soon. Let me know if there is any topic you would like me to talk about in the future about winemaking, and I will see you next Tuesday. And hey, I'm going to throw this out there just in case you are in Paso Robles for Mother's Day. We are doing a called Rosé and Strawberries for Mom. Thank you for the clap. If you come on out, we are doing a special where we were going to have homemade strawberry preserves with our rosé pairing and special pricing on it. So let me know what else you'd like me to talk about on Get Live with Dracaena Wines, and I will see you. Slancha.